Yes. Now you can take over, Mataji.
Prabhuji, inka host enable avala.
Yeah. Flowing now, Mataji?
Prabhuji.
Yeah. Before that, actually take darshan of this temple. I mean, please take this darshan. Wonderful temple. It's in El Paso.
Okay, Prabhuji. Then reclaim the host and then, acha, okay, from your video. Okay.
Yeah. Wonderful temple. El Paso is close to
Haribol.
El Paso location, mountain, all the hilly area, hill and desert kind of area. There is one wonderful devotee called Krishna Charan Prabhu. He is managing this temple. So nice, wonderful light. Take darshan and I'll continue. Program was late, that's why I forgot. Suddenly I realized. Yeah, thank you so much. Take darshan. And here today, amazingly seeing Venkateshwara Swami here after a long time in America. Yeah, this is Radha Kalchindi, our ISKCON Dollar Temple. Thank you so much. Yes, you can continue. Sorry for interruption. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Shall I continue, Mataji?
Yes,
I'm leaving,
Mataji.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
okay,
Hare
Prabhuji. Thank you. Yeah, Mataji, me continue cheyandi.
Purport. The activities of the Lord include liberation, but they are more relishable than the pleasure derived from nirvana or liberation. According to Srila Jiva Goswami and Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura, the word used here is nirvana vilambitani, that which minimize the value of liberation. To attain nirvana liberation, one has to undergo a severe type of tapasya, austerity, but the Lord is so merciful that he incarnates to diminish the burden of the earth. Simply by remembering such activities, one can defy the pleasure derived from nirvana and reach the transcendental abode of the Lord to associate with him, eternally engaged in his blissful loving service. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Lavanya Mataji.
Yeah. Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavat
Krishna.
Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Sorry for interruption. Now, who is speaking to whom? What is the context here? Anyone knows?
Kali Bull, sorry, Sukadeva Goswami, sorry, Parikshit Maharaj Bull Prabhuji.
Mother Earth means cow also, Mataji.
Yeah, Mother
so
Earth.
He's asking this to Dharma discussion is over. Now, mother discussion has come. Father is over, now mother has come. Okay.
Yes, Mother. Translation. Mother, you are the reservoir of all riches. Please inform me of the root cause of your tribulations by which you have been reduced to such a weak state. I think that the powerful influence of time, which conquers the most powerful, might have forcibly taken away all your fortune, which was adored even by the demigods. Purport. By the grace of the Lord, each and every planet is created fully equipped. So not only in this earth, fully equipped with all the riches for the maintenance of its inhabitants, but also when the Lord descends to the earth, the whole earth becomes so enriched with all kinds of opulences that even the denizens of heaven worship it with all affection. But by the will of the Lord, the whole earth can at once be changed. He can do and undo a thing by his sweet will. Therefore, no one should consider himself to be the self-sufficient. Therefore, no one should consider himself to be self-sufficient or independent of the Lord. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mataji.
Lalitman Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. After completion of this, if everyone's turn is completed, I just wanted to share something on the first purport of days, that is 16th. Okay. So Dharni, the earthly deity in the form of a cow thus replied to the personality of religious principles in the form of a bull. Okay, now the discussion is between the cow and a bull. Okay, the cow is telling to bull, "O Dharma, whatever you have incurred from me shall be known to you. I shall try to reply to all those questions. Once you two were maintained by 4 legs, and you increased happiness all over the universe by the mercy of the Lord." Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The principles of religion are laid down by the Lord Himself, and the executor of such laws is Dharmaraja or Yamaraja. Such principles work fully in the age of Satya Yuga. In the Treta Yuga, they are reduced by a fraction of 1/4. In the Dwapar Yuga, they are reduced to 1/2. And in Kali Yuga, they are reduced to 1/4, gradually diminishing to the 0 point. And then devastation takes place. Happiness in the world depends proportionately on the maintenance of religious principles, individually or collectively. The best part of valor is to maintain the principles despite all kinds of odds. Thus, one can be happy during the span of life and ultimately return to Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Akinchan Prabhu. Hare Krishna. యా లలిత్ మోహన్ ప్రభు మీరు ఏదో షేర్ చేస్తానన్నారు కదా.
Yeah.
ఏ
Akinjan Prabhu, Haribol. Unnara? Yeah, Mataji, take the purport number 16, if you can.
16. Okay.
See, no, 17. Today is 21, na? Started from 21, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
today is 21. Yes.
21.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So here Prabhupada has used some words. Even a philosopher and writer of many books on religious principles may also accept an exalted position in government which denies all moral codes of the Shastras. So you know this, na? Earlier, these Brahmanas would not take any positions in the government. They only would be advisors for the administrators, not a role makers. Whenever they have taken roles, many ill things happened, even in the kingdom, because he is not following his dharma. The Brahmana should also only guide and not be attached to anything, even to the post. But nowadays, what happened? If you see the IAS and IPS and all these people, the examination criteria or the entrance criteria for being into that club is so rigorous that you should read a lot. So you should gain a lot of knowledge, right? So ultimately, what is that nature? That is a Brahmanical nature, right? To acquire a lot of knowledge. Lot of information it has become, not knowledge actually. There's acquire a lot of information and then just put it out in the paper again. So in one sense, they're all Brahmanical. But what are they doing? They're into earning money and they're in taking some government positions. And the constitution of government is itself is some things are imbibed into it, which is known as secularism. Means you cannot follow one law and you cannot apply that one law into the whole country or one religious code on the whole country. Okay, that is how the government has become. And into that, the Brahmanas of so-called bureaucracy is entering and working. So that is how you can never find peace with this kind of structure. And you know what is secularism now? Giving equal right to every religion. No one has any upper say or lower say. That is what secularism means. Okay. So what does Prabhupada meant to say here? The Brahmanas specifically restricted from accepting are specifically restricted from accepting such services. Okay, Brahmanas are generally not meant to, depend on someone. Now, if they are dependent on government, they will say whatever government, they will do whatever government tells them to do, right? So that is not a Brahminical quality actually. This is what Prabhupada meant to say. Earlier, people were not like that. The Kshatriya used to respect him and go him for an advice. That's it. It's not that Kshatriya used to feed him every day and he used to guide him. Kshatriya never guides Brahmana. Kshatriya only takes advice from Brahmana and he gives the gifts to Brahmana. That's it. Okay. And you know this, na? Left, right, center, secularism, and all these things.
I don't know, Prabhuji.
Okay, we will talk sometime later about left, right, and center. Secularism, you know, na?
Krishna. What is this left right, Prabhuji? Hare Krishna.
Yeah, because
సో హియర్ ఇక్కడ ఏంటంటే మీరు ఇప్పుడు బ్రాహ్మణులు బాగా లైక్ చదువుకొని బ్రాహ్మణ వృత్తిని చేసి లైక్ అడ్వైస్ ఇవ్వడానికి మాత్రమే ఉండాలి, కానీ వాళ్ళు డైరెక్ట్ గా గవర్నమెంట్ ఉద్యోగం చేసి గవర్నమెంట్ కింద పనిచేసి ఆ డబ్బుల కోసం అలా చేయొద్దు అని, అంతే కదా?
he's not a Brahmana, Mataji.
హీఈస్ నాట్ ఎ బ్రాహ్మణ బికాజ్ హీఈస్ అమ్ముకుంటున్నాడు అన్నట్టు తన నాలెడ్జ్
Yeah.
గవర్నమెంట్ కి డబ్బుల
Yes.
కోసం.
No, he's dependent. First
Yeah,
thing
he's
is he's dependent on government. So he's not a
Yeah.
Brahmana.
Yeah. Okay.
But the you know what is the UPSC board itself mandates that you should know this much of knowledge, this much of information to come into it, which is nothing but a Brahminical nature, right? Now there is
But Prabhuji, gaining knowledge is like important, right, Prabhuji? Like
Mataji, there is a difference between knowledge and information, Mataji. Knowledge has wisdom in it. Information doesn't have wisdom in it. You know, you search in the Google, you will get in the Wikipedia everything that gives you an information, not knowledge, Mataji. Knowledge is acquired by or can be gained by a wise people, not anyone and everyone. And when you go to the Wikipedia, what happens is there are leftist people over there inside sitting there. So they have an agenda. So they will say you what they wanted to say you, not as it is.
So we want to gain knowledge, not information.
No. But the UPSC and all this, what is a board which actually selects the IAS officers and IPS officers are onto the information level, not on the knowledge level. But gaining that much of information is also a Brahminical vritti, Brahminical nature. Okay. So this so-called intelligentsia, which is in the government, which is not controlled by any Kshatriya, so which is not administered by any Kshatriyas, is meant to do many wrong things. That is why the government will not run properly. This is what Prabhupada meant to say here. Okay. And if you see, there are left, center, and right. These are the three kinds of governments which every country has. What happened is during the French Revolution, the king Louis, he told, people who are with me can stand on my right, and people who are against me, who want liberal policies, who want open policies, who are against my control onto the kingdom, can stand onto my left. This is what king has ordered all his representatives. So those people who stood on his right are actually represent that let the conservatism be happening, let the status quo follow. Means whatever is happening, let it follow like that, let it be followed like that. Those people are on the right side of him, stood right side of him, and those people who wanted a change stood left side of him. So from there, the leftist and the rightist has come, and the king was at the center. The centrist means he should balance the both. So this is what is meant by left liberals and right conservatives, and at the centrists. Okay. Could you understand something, Mataji, from this? I'm sorry, I don't know how it is related to Bhagavatam, but whenever Prabhupada says the so-called liberalism here, you should come to know that these are the leftists. Even in India, the CPI, CPM, and Congress, they're all onto the leftists. Okay. And this BJP and other governments, they are onto the right wing. So this is what the left wing and right wing means. Right wing means they wanted to follow the status quo. Whatever the culture of this country be, let it be followed. This is what the right wing wants to do.
Okay.
And the left wing wanted to completely remove all these things, the so-called status quo or the future or the past. They should completely remove the past, and they wanted to, they wanted to convey to the nation that nation has formed in 1947 only. Earlier of that, there is no India. This is what their thought process is. But onto the rightists, they say, no. India is not formed in 1947. It is formed by acharyas. It is formed by many kings. It is formed by many rightist people. This is what the rightists want to say.
Yes, got.
So understood, na? The left and the right.
Yes.
The right wants to follow the status quo, but the left, they wanted to the change of the they wanted to eradicate everything, and they wanted to form the new thing, which they think it is good.
Yeah.
Okay.
That means right follows rules and regulation of scriptures, left to do not follow. Yeah.
In our Indian context, Mataji, but the name of left and right has come from the French Revolution. There, people who stood on to the right, they wanted the king monarchy to be continued, but onto the left wanted to the liberal policies, where the people get advantage, get some advantage. So this is what the left and right means. In India, the right means it is the people who follow the rules and regulations and scriptures. The left, they don't follow anything. They say it is a mythology. Okay.
Yes.
Whatever our past, they just say it is mythology. So in India, it is like that. But in the whole this thing, why I am telling you all these things is, whenever Prabhupada say the so-called leftist liberals, you should come to know that they are the leftists, okay, who don't want to follow what scripture says.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Mataji, I'm not telling you that right is good and left is bad. I'm just telling you what is left and what is right. Okay. Now, after 300 years down the line from the French Revolution, how things happened, the leftists who voted for the change are against the change now. Okay. When anyone say to the left that you are wrong, they are not even ready to accept. But actually, how it started during the French Revolution, they started, let us bring the change. Let us be open, liberal. Whoever comes with his own thoughts, we should respect them. That is how they started. But now it happened like that. They don't want to take any change. They wanted to implement what they think is right. So they became so cutter now. Cutter means so fanatic now. Now you see any of this press like NDTV and many of the channels like Deccan Herald and you name it, Hindu, they all have a leftist intelligentsia with them. All their editors are leftists. Okay. And you have some channels on the right like Republic, First Post. So these people belong to the right. Centrist agenda, the people are very, very less anywhere in the world. And if you see the Western media, it is completely leftist only. You understood, na? I am taking a lot of time, but this is important because Prabhupada, whenever he say the so-called leftist liberals or the so-called liberals, you should understand what is left and what is right. Okay. And if you see the parties like Shiv Sena or this, BJP, BJD, they all come to the right. And now to the left, we have CPI, Congress, many other parties,
Yes.
So there are, this is a political thought actually. But whenever this administrative part comes, Prabhupada writes these things in a very subtle manner. So we should understand what it is. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. You can please go ahead. People, all devotees, you understood or got confused? Hare Krishna.
Yes,
Yeah,
Prabhuji.
Am I audible?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes. Understood, na?
Yes, Prabhuji.
yes,
Yeah.
Prabhu.
Left, right, center, and the other thing is a Brahmanical intelligentsia. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji. I go back to
Akinjan
26,
Prabhu.
27, right?
Yeah, please. Akinjan Prabhu, it's your turn, no?
Okay, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Yeah, translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In him resides truthfulness, cleanliness, intolerance of another, unhappiness, the power of control, anger, self-satisfaction, straightforwardness, steadiness of mind, control of sense organs, responsibility, equality, tolerance, equanimity, faithfulness, knowledge, absence of sense enjoyment, leadership, chivalry, influence, the power to make everything possible, the discharge of proper duty, complete independence, dexterity, fullness of beauty, serenity, kind-heartedness, ingenuity, ingenuity, gen- gentility, magnanimity, determination, perfection in all knowledge, proper execution, possession of all objects of enjoyment, joyfulness, immovability, fidelity, fame, worship, pridelessness, being as the personality of Godhead, eternity, and many other transcendental qualities which are eternally present and never been separated from Him. That personality of Godhead, the reservoir of all goodness and beauty, Lord Sri Krishna, has now closed his transcendental pastimes on the face of the earth. In his absence, the age of Kali has spread its influence everywhere. So I am sorry to see this condition of existence. But even if it were possible to count the atoms after smashing the earth into powder, still it would not be possible to estimate the unfathomable transcendental qualities of the Lord. It is said that the Lord Anantadev has tried to expound the transcendental qualities of the Supreme Lord with his numberless tongues, and that for the numberless years together it has been impossible to estimate the qualities of the Lord. The above statement of qualities of the Lord is just the estimate of his qualities as far as the human being is able to see him. But even if it is so that above qualities can be divided into many subheadings, according to Srila Jiva Goswami, the third quality, intolerance of another's unhappiness, can be subdivided into protection of surrendered soul and well wishes for the devotees. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord states that he wants every soul to surrender unto him only, and he assures everyone that if one does so, he will give protection from the reaction of all the sins. Unsurrendered souls are not devotees of the Lord, and thus there is no particular protection for everyone in general. For the devotees, he has all good wishes, and for those who are actually engaged in loving transcendental service of the Lord, he gives particular attention. He gives directions to such pure devotee to help him to discharge his responsibilities on the path back to Godhead. By equality, the Lord is equal kind to everyone as sun is equal in distributing its rays over everyone. Yet there are many who are unable to take the advantage of sun rays. Similarly, the Lord says that surrendering unto him is the guarantee for all the protection from him. But unfortunately, persons are unable to accept this proposition, and therefore they suffer from all material miseries. So even though the Lord is equal, well-wishing to everyone, the unfortunate living being, due to the bad association, is unable to accept the instructions in toto. And for this, the Lord is never to be blamed. He is called the well-wisher for the devotees only. He appears to be partial to his devotees, but factually this matter rests on the living beings to accept or reject equal treatment by the God. The Lord never deviates from his word of honor. When he gives assurance for protection, the promise is executed in all circumstances. It is the duty of the pure devotee to be fixed in the discharge of the duty entrusted to him by the Lord or the Lord's bona fide representatives, the spiritual master. The rest is carried on by the Lord without a break. Hare Krishna. Or still is there? Somebody can read or can I continue?
1 second, Prabhuji, will give it to somebody.
Yeah.
Nobody else?
Okay, Mantaj.
I'll read it. Yeah, the responsibility of the Lord is also unique. The Lord has no responsibility because all his work is done by his different appointed energies, but still he accepts voluntary responsibilities in displaying different roles in his transcendental pastimes. As a boy, he was playing the part of a cowboy. As the son of Nanda Maharaj, he discharged responsibility perfectly. Similarly, when he was playing the part of a Kshatriya as the son of Maharaja Vasudeva, he displayed all the skill of a martially spirited Kshatriya. In almost all cases, the Kshatriya king has to secure a wife by fighting or kidnapping. This sort of behavior for a Kshatriya is praiseworthy in the sense that a Kshatriya must show his power of chivalry to his would-be wife so that the daughter of a Kshatriya can see the valor of her would-be husband. Even the personality of Godhead Sri Rama displayed such a spirit of chivalry during his marriage. He broke the strongest bow called Haradhanur and achieved the hand of Sita Devi, the mother of all opulence. The Kshatriya spirit is displayed during marriage festivals, and there is nothing wrong in such fighting. Lord Sri Krishna discharged such responsibility fully because, although he had more than 16,000 wives, in each and every case he fought like a chivalrous Kshatriya and thus secured a wife. To fight 16,000 times to secure 16,000 wives is certainly possible only for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Similarly, he displayed full responsibility in every action of his different transcendental pastimes. Samyukta Mataji, ఈ paragraph చదవండి.
Yes, Mataji. The 14th quality, knowledge, can be further extended into 5 subheadings, namely intelligence, gratefulness, power of understanding the circumstantial environments of place, object, and time, perfect knowledge of everything, and knowledge of the self. Only fools are ungrateful to their benefactors. The Lord, however, does not require benefit from anyone besides himself because he is full in himself. Still, he feels benefited by the unalloyed services of his devotees. The Lord feels grateful to his devotees for such unsophisticated, unconditional service and tries to reciprocate it by rendering service. Although the devotee also has no such desire in his heart, the transcendental service of the Lord is itself a transcendental benefit for the devotee, and therefore the devotee has nothing to expect from the Lord. On the assertion of the Vedic aphorism, Sarvam Kalva Idam Brahma, we can understand that the Lord, by the omnipresent rays of his effulgence called Brahmajyoti, is all pervading inside or outside of everything, like the omnipresent material sky, and thus he is also omniscient.
Sandhya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. As far as the beauty of the Lord is concerned, he has some special features that distinguish him from all other living beings. And over and above that, he has some special attractive, beautiful features by which he attracts the mind of even Radharani, the supermost beautiful creation of the Lord. He is known, therefore, as Madana Mohana, or one who attracts the mind of even Cupid. Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhu has scrutinizingly analyzed other transcendental qualities of the Lord and affirms that Lord Sri Krishna is the absolute supreme personality of Godhead, Parabrahma. He is omnipotent by his inconceivable energies, and therefore he is Yogeshwara, or the supermaster of all mystic powers. Being the Yogeshwara, his eternal form is spiritual, a combination of eternity, bliss, and knowledge. The non-devotee class cannot understand the dynamic nature of his knowledge because they are satisfied to reach up to his eternal form of knowledge. All great souls aspire to be equal in knowledge with him. This means that all other knowledge is even insufficient, flexible, and measurable, whereas the knowledge of the Lord is ever fixed and unfathomable. Srila Shruta Goswami affirms in the Bhagavatam that although he was absorbed by the citizens of Dwaraka every day, they were ever increasingly anxious to see him again and again. The living beings can appreciate the qualities of the Lord as the ultimate goal, but they cannot attain the status quo of such equality. This material world is the product of the Mahat Tattva, which is a state of the Lord's dreaming condition in his Yoga Nidra, mystic slumber in the casual ocean, and yet the whole creation appears to be a factual presentation of his creation. This means that the Lord's dreaming conditions are also factual manifestations. He can therefore bring everything under his transcendental control, and thus whenever and wherever he does appear, he does so in his fullness. Thank you, Mataji.
Lavanya Mataji?
Yeah, the last one, right, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, the Lord, being all that is described above, maintains the affairs of creation, and by his so doing, he gives salvation even to his enemies who are killed by him. He is attractive even to the topmost liberated soul, and thus he is worshipable even by Brahma and Shiva, the greatest of all the demigods. Even in his creation, the Purusha avatars, he is the Lord of the creative energy. The creative material energy is working under his direction as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 9.10. He is the control switch of the material energy, and to control the material energy in the innumerable universes is the root cause of innumerable incarnation in all the universes. There are more than 500,000 incarnations of Manu in only one universe, besides other incarnations in different universes. In the spiritual world, however, beyond the Mahat Tattva, there is no question of incarnations, but there are plenary expansions of the Lord in different Vaikunthas. The planets in the spiritual sky are at least 3 times the number of those within the innumerable universes in the Mahat Tattva. And all the Narayana forms of the Lord are but expansion of his Vasudeva feature. And thus he is Vasudeva, Narayana, and Krishna simultaneously. He is Sri Krishna, Govinda, Hare Murari, Nanatha, Narayana. Oh, Sri Krishna, Govinda, Hare Murari, Nanatha, Narayana, Vasudeva. All in one, his qualities therefore cannot be counted by anyone, however great one may be. Thank you.
Yeah, anyone understand this last 4 paragraphs?
సో కింద ఏమో ఇన్కార్నేషన్స్ పైన ఏమో ప్లీనరీ ఎక్స్పాన్షన్స్ అని చెప్తున్నారు మా ప్రభుజీ.
Yeah, first he came, this whole purport, first he came with the qualities of the Lord, how they are unfathomable, and at last he gives the description of the material world, how the Lord expands. So that is what the last part of it means. If you see that material and spiritual worlds, then you can get a glimpse of what his Prabhupada meant to say in this purport. Because last 2 paragraphs are only the description of Lord's expansions, how we expand in the material world. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Prabhuji. So we'll conclude the reading call here and we'll start with the Dhruv Mhj Prayers.
Mother, shall I read one purport?
Okay, Prabhuji. You can read.
Hare Krishna. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I'm thinking about myself and also best amongst the demigods, about you as well as about all the demigods, sages, denizens of Pitraloka, devotees of the Lord, and all men obedient to the system of Varna and Ashrama in the human society. Purport. To affect the perfection of human life, there is cooperation between men and demigods, sages, denizens of the Pitraloka. 1 minute. Pitraloka, devotees of the Lord, and the scientific system of Varna and Ashrama orders of life. The distinction between human life and animal life therefore begins with the scientific system of Varna and Ashrama, guided by the experience of the sages and the relation with the demigods, gradually rising to the summit of re-establishing our eternal relation with the Supreme Absolute Truth, the personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. When God made Varnashrama Dharma, which is strictly meant for developing animal consciousness into human consciousness and human consciousness into godly consciousness, is broken by advancement of foolishness. The whole system of peaceful and progressive life is at once disturbed. In the age of Kali, the first attack of venomous snake strikes against the God-made Varnashrama Dharma, and thus a person properly qualified as a Brahmana is called a Sudra, and a Sudra by qualification is passing as a Brahmana, and all on a false birthright claim. To become a Brahmana by birthright claim is not at all bona fide, although it may be fulfillment of one of the conditions. But the real question of Brahmana is to control the mind and the senses, and to cultivate tolerance, simplicity, cleanliness, knowledge, truthfulness, devotion, and faith in the Vedic. Matas, could you please go up? In the Vedic wisdom. In the present age, consideration of the necessary qualification is being neglected, and the false birthright claim is being supported even by a popular, sophisticated poet, the author of Ramacharita Manasa. This is all due to the influence of the age of Kali. Thus, Mother Earth, preserved as a cow, was lamenting the regrettable condition. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
So, anyone knows who is the sophisticated poet?
Ramcharita Manas Rasna Wala Prabhuji?
Yes, Tulsidas.
Tulsidas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Prabhupada is condemning even him, because in some of his quotes he says that the birth of Brahmanical is the highest. So Prabhupada is dead. In the whole purport, you see one thing. Prabhupada says birthright, and that is the most meanest thing, to say that I am from that family and I am Brahmana, because I am from Brahmanical family. And even this popular poet who is known as Ramcharita, who is Tulsidas, who is a devotee of the Lord, at times even he also concluded that. So Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So he wanted to, Prabhupada is very strict actually. And in that case, even the acharyas, all the acharyas are very, very strict, who comes from the parampara. They are very strict even at the minutest this thing. Earlier it is said by just following the Varnashram Dharma, everyone can reach back to Godhead. How is that possible? Because when you see the Shudras, how can they become, what is qualified to become back to Godhead? You can understand for the Brahmana, Vaishya and Kshatriya. Brahmana, they directly do worship. And Kshatriya, they administer, and assist Brahmana. Okay. And Vaishya, what do? They donate it for the Lord. So they can also be eligible. But how can a Shudra?
They can serve all the three classes.
Yes, one is that. And what if their nature, because they have a frivolous nature, Mataji. So they can do the aparad also for these three. If you can, go deeply, they say that they can do the aparad also. They can reject outway, because that is a frivolous nature the people have. Okay. So what you say, this one Brahmana, so what this one Brahmana would used to do, and there was a ratio also of how many Brahmanas, how many Kshatriyas, how many Vaishyas and how many Shudras would be in one village. And if there are extra, then they would manage with the whole Janapada. That is how things used to happen. So what happened is, this Brahmana used to tell, see, let us build a temple. Okay, and this temple will be built by whole community of 2 or 3 villages or one whole kingdom. So what happens there? Everyone should take part in the temple, construction of the temple. Kshatriya administers money for it. Okay, Brahmana administers, do the puja for it. Vaishya brings the money for it, and Shudras, they labor for it. So every village used to come to that place, and then they used to serve it and then go. That is how it took. It took like some centuries for some temples to be built, and for some decades for some temples to be built. Why it is built so late or so long? See, they are not target centric, but they are process centric. Okay, even if this life, if in this lifetime, if it is not getting completed, it doesn't matter for us. We are serving the Lord. So this is what actually Varnashrama means. They are into process centric, not a result oriented or result centric. And when this changes to the result centric, everything becomes haphazard. Within no time, you will build a temple, and for that, you will do all the khichdi for this Varnashram, and people will not follow their swabhava, and everything mess happens. This is what happens in Kali Yuga. Understood, na?
Yes,
the main subtleties of Varnashrama and not following Varnashrama, becoming result oriented than to the process oriented. Earlier it was process oriented, now it has become result oriented. People are seeing efficiencies now. Earlier people used to see the effectiveness of it. Very deep subjects, but then they have a very long impact on our lives actually. So generally I say, please search for Swabhava. This is the reason I say, because we should be process oriented, not a result oriented. If we are result oriented, we will leave Krishna consciousness within no time. Be assured of it. Hare Krishna, can we? Yes, any doubts?
The same context, like Ashwatthama also is not considered as Brahmana. He calls like Dvija Bandhu, because Brahmana wala abbai sure ga Brahman kaanavasram ledhu kada.
Yes, Mataji. He doesn't have Brahmanical qualities.
Yeah, so how can he call Brahmana? That's why.
Yeah.
Prabhupada ఆ పర్పట్లో కూడా చెప్తారు ఇదంతా.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, shall we go with the next shloka?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Haribol. So, shall we go with the synonyms? I will read it. You all repeat with me. Okay?
Yes, Prabhuji.
3 times every word. We have very little time, but then we will do it. Ekaha.
Ekaha.
1. Ekaha. 1. Ekaha. 1. Tvam. You. Tvam. You. Tvam. You. Eva. Certainly. Eva. Certainly. Eva. Certainly. Bhagavan. Oh my Lord. Bhagavan. Oh my Lord. Idam.
idam,
this material world,
this material world,
idam,
idam,
this material world,
this material world,
Atma Shaktya,
Atma Shaktya,
by your own potency,
by your
by
own
your own
potency,
potency,
Atma Shaktya,
Atma Satya,
Shaktya,
by your own potency,
by our
by
own
your own
potency,
potency,
Atma Shaktya,
Atma Shaktya,
by your own potency,
by our
own
potency,
Maya Khyaya,
Maya Khyaya,
Shaktya,
of the name Maya,
of
of
the
the
name
name
Maya,
Maya,
Maya Khyaya,
Maya
Maya
Khyaya,
Khyaya,
of the name Maya,
of the name
name
Maya,
Maya,
Maya Khyaya,
Maya
Maya
Khyaya,
Khyaya,
of the name Maya,
of
the
the name
name
Maya,
Maya,
Uru,
Guru,
Guru,
greatly powerful,
greatly powerful,
Uru,
Guru,
greatly powerful,
greatly powerful,
Gunaya,
Gunaya,
consisting of modes of nature,
consisting
consisting
of
of the
modes
most
of
of
nature,
nature,
Gunaya,
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 consisting of the modes of nature,
consisting
consisting
of the
of the
modes
modes
of
of
nature,
nature,
Mahatadi,
Mahatadi,
the Mahat Tattva, etc.
Mahat Tattva, etc.
Mahat Adi,
Mahat
Mahatadi,
Adi,
the Mahat Tattva, etc.
the
the Mahat Tattva,
Mahatma,
etc.
Asesham,
Ashesham,
unlimited.
unlimited,
unlimited.
Ashesham,
Ashesham,
unlimited.
unlimited,
Srishtva,
Srishtva,
after creating.
after creating,
Srishtva,
Shrishta,
after creating.
after
after
creating.
creating,
Srishtva,
Shrishta,
after creating.
After
after
creating.
creating,
Anuvishya,
Anuvishya,
then after entering.
then
Then
after
after entering.
Anuvishya,
Anuvishya,
then after entering.
then after entering,
Purushaha,
Purushaha,
the super soul.
the super soul,
Tat,
Tat,
of Maya.
of
Maya,
Maya,
Asat Guneshu,
Asat Guneshu,
into the temporarily manifested qualities.
into the
into the
temporary
temporarily manifested qualities.
Asat Guneshu,
Asat
Asat
Guneshu,
Guneshu,
into the temporarily manifested qualities.
into the
temporarily
manifested
manifested
qualities.
qualities.
Asat Guneshu,
Asat Guneshu,
into the temporarily manifested qualities.
Into the
into the
temporary
temporarily
manifested
manifested qualities.
Nana,
Nana,
variously.
variously,
Iva,
Eva,
as if.
as if.
Darushu,
Darushu,
into the pieces of wood.
into the pieces of wood.
Darushu,
Darushu,
into the pieces of wood.
into the
pieces of wood.
Vibhavasuvat,
Vibhavasuvat,
just like fire.
just like fire.
Vibhavasuvat,
Vibhavasuvat,
just like fire.
just like fire.
Vibhavasuvat,
Vibhavasuvat,
just like fire.
just like
just like fire.
Vibhasi,
Vibhasi,
you appear.
you
you
appear.
appear.
Vibhasi,
Vibhasi,
you appear.
you
You
appear.
appear.
Okay, now one of you please read translation fastly.
My Lord, you are the Supreme One, but by your different energies, you appear differently in the spiritual and material worlds. You create the total energy.
Sorry.
Yes, please.
1 second.
చేంజ్ అయింది అనుకుంటా.
అదే అది డౌన్కి వెళ్ళట్లేదు, ఒక్క నిమిషం.
ఇందాక మాతాజీ పంపించారు కదా, అక్కడైనా చూడండి.
Yes.
కింద
వేదాబేస్ లో పెడతారా మాతాజీ? డైరెక్ట్ గా స్క్రోల్ చేసుకొని చదవచ్చు.
ఇప్పుడు కనబడుతుందా మాతాజీ?
యా కనబడుతుంది.
Yes, Mataji.
సారీ, చదువు.
Okay, Mataji. Translation. My Lord, you are the Supreme One, but by your different energies, you appear differently in the spiritual and material worlds. You create the total energy of the material world by your external potency. And after creation, you enter within the material world as the super soul. You are the supreme person, and through the temporary modes of material nature, you create varieties of manifestation, just as fire entering into wood of different shapes burns brilliantly in different varieties. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So please repeat after me some 3 or 4 words in this, which are very, tongue twisters. So we will start doing it from tomorrow. Okay. Today we will repeat these words 3 or 4 times. Maya Khyayoru.
Maya
Khyayoru.
Maya Khyayoru.
Maya Khyayoru.
Maya Khyayoru.
Maya Khyayoru.
Maya Khyayoru.
Maya Khyayoru.
Maya Khyayoru.
Maya Khyayoru.
Maya Khyayoru.
Maya Khyayoru.
Srishtvanu Vishya.
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 Okay. Vibhavasuvad Vibhasi.
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 Okay. Now I will just recite it once. From tomorrow we will start reciting directly. Okay. Ekastvameva bhagavan idamatmashakya mayakhyayorgunaya mahadati sesham srishtvanu vishya purushastada sadguneshu naneva darshu vibhavasuvad vibhasi. Okay. Yeah, Mataji, you can end the call. We will do it from tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, Prabhuji. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद बुक रीडिंग की जय। श्रीमद् भगवत गीता की जय। श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। हरे कृष्ण। Thank you everybody for joining.